Hey YouTube, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a little knife discussion, sort of life hack, if you will. And I'm going to say this is something that everyone knows about that just a lot of people don't do. For some of you who don't know, maybe you don't watch a lot of these videos, I have a pocket knife collection, and one of the things that comes along with owning knives is sharpening them. And so I've got this little Smith pocket sharpener, I've got this Lansky rod sharpening system, and I've got a couple of stones as well. And I've used all of them. The stones I have are pretty coarse. I just keep them in my survival kit so that if I'm out in the bush and I need to sharpen my knife, I can get a passable edge on it. But what I actually want to talk about is how to take that sharpness one step further. Now, if you're the guy or the girl who doesn't have any capacity to sharpen your knives, yeah, you would do yourself a huge favor if you just picked up almost any sharpening device. Would help you a whole lot. These rod sharpening systems, I'll show you a little bit. They just have a couple of rods in here and they go in at a particular angle, in this case 20 degrees, and you run the knife through this way. You hold the knife upright and run it through. There are a bunch of different ones of these rod systems, so I don't want to be unfair and say one is better than the other. There's quite a few that will all do the trick for you. They're not very expensive. If you feel like that's too much skill, there are even ones that control the angle for you with using a vise or vice grips or whatever. I say that first part is just to say sharpening is really easy. Anyone can do it, and go ahead and get yourself some method of sharpening your knives. You do need to know that these angle sharpeners that all of us have, sometimes they come with your knife block, or you can pick this one up at Canadian Tire for like 15 bucks. I have at home, I have one that came with a Pampered Chef knife set that my wife got. They're okay. They're not putting a great edge on your knife. And so what I really want to talk about in this video is how to take your knife edge from okay, it cuts what I want it to cut, to wow, that thing will shave the hair off your arms and whatever. Like hair shaving, razor sharp. And this is something so simple. Everyone can make it. It takes only a few minutes and very little effort. This is just a piece of leather I got. I have a neighbor who does leather work, makes purses and belts and saddle parts, and I don't think she actually makes saddles, but everything else but that. And so she just had this scrap piece of leather laying around and gave it to me. And if you live around a furrier, or there's lots of places where you can pick up leather. If you have to, you can just order it. There's a few places online where you can order a piece of leather. You get much bigger than this, so you may want to get 3 or 4 friends together and say, we'll all make a little knife strop. Anyway, this is a strop, and I have mine free. If you go online and start looking for how to make one, a lot of people say, stick this to a piece of wood. Let's, do this type of thing. And obviously you'd cut it to fit the piece of wood exactly. But I haven't done that because I have a number of knives that have a curve in the blade, a recurve. And I find without this being attached to a hard flat surface, I can bend it a little bit and still strop those recurve blades pretty easily. Now, all that I did to make this was get a good heavy piece of quality leather and rubbed into it something called rubbing compound. It's an automotive thing for, polishing metal. I rubbed that into this, and that puts just a very, very gentle abrasive, and it will just finish the edge of your knife off so that you end up having just a razor sharp finish on that blade. And so anyone can make this. Anyone can use it. I'm not going to give you a long, detailed, discussion of how to use it. You know how to make it now. Cut a piece of leather to the appropriate size, and that varies. If this was half the length, it'd probably be a little too short. If it was 6 inches long, it'd be a little too long. But something around 9 inches, a foot long, will give you enough room. A wider piece of leather works as well. This is about 2 inches, a little over 2 inches. A wider piece, 3 inches, 4 inches, can work well also. You just want to rub some compound in it, and then you just take your knife over it. You do the opposite of what you do when you're sharpening. So when you're sharpening, you push the knife this way on a strop. You're just going to pull it the other way. And I would put this on a table if I was actually going to use it. So this is just kind of an example. So knife strop, super handy. You would not believe the difference it makes in a knife. This is my paramilitary 2. I was using it over the weekend and got it really dull by cutting on a ceramic surface, and really dulled that edge up. And within 5 minutes, I had it back to literally sharp enough to shave hair. And that's because, and all the difference comes from a strop. With this thing, I can get a decent edge, I can get a cutting edge, but with the strop, it really makes all the difference. So all I'm saying to you in this video is you would not believe the value a knife strop makes and how worthwhile it is to get a hunk of leather, put some compound on it, some rubbing compound. And if you Google it, there's a bunch of things that you can use to load a knife strop. The rubbing compound was just the easiest one for me to get my hands on. Super handy. You would not believe how often or how much difference this makes. Further, there's one other thing I want to say about this. If you have a knife that you use a lot and you find you have to resharpen it, instead of resharpening it all the time, just every day or every second day that you're using your knife, just go over, strop it at the end of the day. And what will happen is your edge will last a lot longer. You'll still have to sharpen it eventually, but a strop will make a big difference in helping you retain an edge on a knife for a lot longer, especially if it's a quality steel. You'll get a good length of time between the times you need to actually go to a sharpening stone or a rod sharpener or whatever and retouch it up. So I hope this is useful to somebody. This strop is just the thing that makes all the difference. It takes the edges of your knives from passably sharp, sharp enough to do the cutting that I normally do, to razor sharp. So just slides through things like a laser beam. Very useful thing. A little bit of practice is all it takes to have very sharp, very usable knives. And every time you go to pick up a knife, you'll just know, man, it's going to cut everything I need it to cut. It's going to cut it really well, and it'll just make your life a lot easier. So that's my very simple discussion about the difference a knife strop and sharp knives in general can make. Definitely worth the 5 minutes that it takes to keep a knife sharp. Talk to you later, YouTube. I hope you enjoyed the video.